City podcast.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Keys to the City. I am your host, Trevor Keys, alongside the big brother, Ted Keys. No, this is not a repeat show from last week. This is superstitious.
This is episode 566.
This, yeah, right? But no.
Actually, it's probably a lot more than
This
that.
is the definition of being superstitious. The reason we're wearing these, we wore these last week. New York Giants are still playing. Got to keep the superstitious outfits going.
Superstition.
Superstitious? I do superstitious.
You just said superstitious.
No,
Oh my- We're already started off on the wrong foot.
No. I'm antsy, bro. This is I think you even said it, Ted. This is the first show that we're actually doing. Go Night. That's one of the big games of this weekend. Yes, NFC, NFL, NFC, AFC. The divisional matchups are here. But Ted, this is the first show you were saying that I think the Giants are in the playoffs, and the first show we're actually doing together that we've seen the New York Giants in the playoffs. It's been that long since the New York Giants have gotten this far, like last week, have they even been in the playoffs. But if we remember how last year played out in this divisional weekend, well, it went down as the all-time great, Ted. I mean, you remember this? Do you remember last year, this time, divisional weekend? Titans, Bengals. You had the 49ers and Packers. Then you had the Buccaneers and Rams, and then you had the classic Bills and Chiefs. Could be a rematch. But now we are here for a divisional matchup that is, well, ladies and gentlemen, I know me and Ted are both looking forward to. Giant fans and all, as we like to call it, NFL's Elite Eight version of the tournament. Ted, we think about the underdogs. Huge game from both Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence last week. We'll also talk about the Buffalo Bills. Are they the team with the most pressure, Ted? And then we're going to rank our games from most that we are most looking forward to. But Ted, we're starting off. We are New York Giant fans. And like I said, this is not a superstitious act. We are being as superstitious as we usually are when it comes to New York Giant football. We usually are like this in the past. If anybody was with us during that time, we'd be the same way, wearing the same outfits. Well, the New York Giants are here. They're playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. In Philadelphia, perfect odds.
David versus Goliath.
It's just as a Giant fan, you're like, this is how it's going to be. This is how it has to be played out. If we're going to do this, we're going to make this run. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they don't got no easy game either. They're going to Kansas City to play the great Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So you look at both of these underdogs, Ted. Jacksonville is a 8.5-point underdog, and the Giants are a 7.5-point underdog. So when you look at both of these teams, they have no shot. According to Vegas, they have no shot. They shouldn't even be here, and they should just get ready for a, I guess, early postseason exit. But Ted, who's more likely to pull off the upset? Is it Big Blow, or is it Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Listen. You're telling me to. We're Giant fans, so we're going to pick the Giants.
Well, you've picked the Dallas Cowboys, so I want to see how big of a anti-Giant fan you are right now. Because I feel like you should keep picking against them.
It worked last week, so if I really wanted to have fun with this thing, I would say the Jaguars. The Jaguars, considering the momentum, like to be down 27-0 last week for Trevor Lawrence to throw 4 picks, have like 5 turnovers, and come back to 4 touchdowns. For them to come back and win that way. They have actually the team to beat the Chiefs. Like, they have the offensive skill players and coach and defense to upset the Chiefs. I just, though I look at it, though, I'm like, it's just the Chiefs and Mahomes in the playoffs. Like, Arrowhead, Mahomes, he just doesn't lose at home. Like, it feels like ever. I know he lost to the Bengals last year. I get he lost to the Patriots. That was because they had an idiot on the team. We won't get into that. Who gives a crap? But I'll tell you it's the Giants. And I say that only in this perspective of this. When I watch the Chiefs, I understand the end of the season. They did struggle a little bit against the Colts and the Texans, but they were playing, their defense was playing much better at the end of the season. And I thought Mahomes was just kind of gelling. They flow. And the bye for them really doesn't seem to have effect because they're used to this. Like, ever since Mahomes took over the reins in 2017, 2018, they've been the number 1 seed right? So, and they've had the home field advantage, and it seems like Patrick Mahomes he's been in the AFC Championship game every year since he's been a starter. So the fruition of the Jaguars trying to upset them, I just don't see it. Maybe not yet, right?
Dude, he's never been on the road.
He's never on the road.
He's never been on the road.
Well, when
every
you're the
game,
best player and the best quarterback with the best team, it makes sense, right?
Situation though, like when we think of today's NFL, like you see up and comers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Giants. Nobody expected either one of these teams to even be playing the wild card round. To be in the Elite Eight of the NFL playoffs is for both teams they can rebuild. But you look at the Chiefs. I mean, he hasn't he's never been on the road in the postseason. Every game has been home, and it's going to, no matter what. Well, no, it's not actually.
Well, if the Bills win, it'll be at the neutral site, but they'll be the home team in the sense of
they won't be an Arrowhead. It's a big difference being in a neutral site game, Ted.
Now,
we know how that
the Bengals. It'll be a rematch of the AFC Championship game back in Arrowhead.
Exactly. So those are the rules. Those are the things that are going against that game.
My answer is going to be the Giants. I'm just going to say one last thing. Something that I totally forgot about that was brought up today on one of the shows I'm watching is, if I'm a Jaguars fan, I am so pumped because no one has talked about this. They're having Calvin Ridley coming back next year.
Oh, yeah.
Calvin,
that could be a game changer.
People forget about that move that was done.
Yes.
Calvin Ridley is an ace. He's a number one. He's a beast, bro. That boy can play.
Yes,
that boy is gonna tear it up. And now you put him as the number one. Now
Christian Kirk
goes to the role that he should be playing as a number two. Evan Ingram, who is Trevor Lawrence's favorite target, goes to number three with the team that they should be building on. But let's get to what I'm really talking about. It's the New York Football Giants.
No, you're right about that. That's scary to have.
I think both teams have an opportunity. But I'm going to say this with the Giants. The Giants are one of those weird teams in football history where when they're down and out and no one gives them a chance, they win those games. It's like when the Giants are the favorites, do not pick the Giants because they always lose and they always screw up. All right. The Giants are playing a division rival for the third time. It's really hard to beat a team three times, especially a divisional rival. I'll just say I guarantee
21 and 14 is the overall career that number one seeds. That's
how could it be 21 and 14? Oh, they're 21 wins, 14 losses.
Yes.
So they have
but that's still a lot. But think about that. That's a pretty decent amount of, no matter what, 1 versus 6. You think 21-4? That's.
I'm just going to say this.
It's far off.
For me, it's the Giants. It's a biased answer. It's the Giants. You're playing the division rival the third time. I will get this way. The biggest hole that the Eagles, I think, makes a difference is Jalen Hurts is hurt and he's not healthy and hasn't been healthy, and they're coming off the bye, and the Eagles, compared to the Chiefs, are not rolling into the playoffs like the Chiefs were. And I think the Giants are building momentum. That Colts game, the Eagles game, even though they lost, I thought it was momentum. They took care of business against Minnesota last week. And I think this is a game that the Giants can win in a nasty, gritty form where they win ugly 17-14, 20-17. I'm going to take the Giants. It's because of Daniel Jones. It's because the coaching staff of Wink Martindale, Mike Kafka, Brian Daboll might be the best coach in the whole NFC. So, because the reason why I say that, people probably think I'm nuts, is because I'd love to see what Brian Daboll would do if he had, I don't know, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey and one of the best left tackles in Trent Williams, and and then you have a defense that's the number one defense in football that you can rely on, that that you can have an offense based on a defense that's going to hold teams back.
Let's get the inevitable out of the way. Both of these teams have to play a perfect game to win to advance in the conference title game. Let's be honest about that. Let's just throw that out of the way because I think that's a missing part that we haven't said. Both of these teams have to play a perfect game. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, for them to be here is a fascinating story because we all know how the Chargers had an all-time collapse in the second half, blowing a 27-0 lead. I mean, good for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars for having the heart and a never say die attitude to make an opportunity for them to be playing another week and giving themselves an opportunity to win go to a conference title game. The Giants played their A game last week. And now I know everybody's going to bash them because of the fact that it was Minnesota, fair to say, because Minnesota's defense was god-awful. As if anybody hasn't seen, their defensive coordinator at Dontrell is gone, fired, because they were one of the worst defenses in the league. So understandable. But it's the Giants. The Giants can do it because of the fact that there's a divisional game. I think we all just give Patrick Mahomes. I guess we give him the pass because he is like the version of like in the sense of Brady. He's like he gets
Well,
to a
here's
he
my
gets
thing.
to it.
Who do you
Hold
have
on,
more
he
trust?
gets to at least
Hold on. Do you have more trust in the Philadelphia Eagles or who? Oh, listen, or do
If
you
you're
have
gonna say the
have
Kansas
more
City
trust
Chiefs,
in the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick
Kansas City,
Mahomes and Andy Reid?
without
My thing is, I have more trust in Andy Reid.
let me answer the question quick. It's very simple. It's the Kansas City
I know
Chiefs.
I asked the question and answer it.
It,
I'm like that boyfriend that what do you want to do? That's okay. We're gonna go with this.
You're the only human being I think, and I know in the entire world that literally asks a question, and before that person even answers your question, you answer your question before.
I might as well give my perspective and then ask the question. So
yeah, you might as well continue to just go on with go on with the rant. But
tell me how you feeling, brother.
It's easy. So without question, it's Kansas City. I mean, they've at least been to the AFC title game. Now, I know they haven't been to the Super Bowl, losing to Cincinnati last year, but they've been and have hosted the AFC title game. So I'm going without question. I trust the Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Daniel Jones has to continue to play his way, the way he played last week. We know what this Eagles team can be. They're the most, when healthy, they're going to be, just like the 49ers, they are the most complete team in the entire NFL, not just the NFC. They're in the entire NFL. I like them a little more in the sense of I trust Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I don't trust that defense, but the defense is starting to play better. But this defense for this Eagles team has been nasty without question. One of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the league. Their pass rush, 70 sacks. They just know how to get after the quarterback. They do their freaking job. They get after it without question. Their secondary is great. Their linebacking crew is great. The Giants have to play the perfect game. The Jacksonville Jaguars got to play the perfect game. But I'm riding with the Daniel Jones and the New York Giants because it's a divisional game, and I know it can be biased, and we can be biased, but that's okay.
We're going to be biased.
We're going to. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars I think Jacksonville will have a without question an opportunity to win and a fair chance, but Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid will take without question will fly to the AFC title game again. But the Eagles 3 times. It's going to be a perfect it's going to be a perfect chance for the Giants to pull off a big mammoth upset in the franchise. And I'm talking about this rivalry's history because as we know the Giants have gotten dominated.
Played well against the Eagles. No, they've lost 11 of their last 13. They haven't beaten the Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field for 9 straight times.
It's a nightmare.
Yes.
It's a nightmare on Lincoln Financial. At Lincoln Financial.
So, and what was it? Giants have lost 9 straight road games to the Eagles. So nobody on this team has ever beaten the Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah.
But the positivity from the Giants is they've scored 24 points out of their last 3 of the 4 games. So their scoring has been up. Daniel Jones has played well. Here's the other thing I look at, and I don't think we talked about it, but it has to go with the divisional rival is the Giants are not going to be scared and nervous going into Financial Field. They've been there. Yeah. Most of these guys, they know what they're walking into. I don't know if the Jaguars players and team know what they're walking into yet. You know, Trevor Lawrence is like, it won't be that loud in Arrowhead. Probably no different than our stadium last week. I'm like, no, bro. Sorry. I don't know if he saw the Instagram post, but they post the loudest stadiums, and Arrowhead was like number 1.
I guess we're gonna have to find out. This will all come to fruition tomorrow with the Jacksonville Jaguars playing in that silent crowd, according to Trevor Lawrence and Arrowhead, and the New York Giants, the 2 underdogs tomorrow, 24 hours from today.
Yeah, it's funny. Those 2 games.
I can't believe that. Like, it's fascinating to know that the Jacksonville, just this entire season has just been remarkable. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Giants are playing for a chance at an NFC and AFC conference title appearance. Like, that's freaking amazing. Good for these franchises that are in rebuild.
Hey, the last time the Jags were in the playoffs, they were playing against an AFC East team in the AFC conference final.
We'll see what happens.
But their defense carried them. That defense was nasty.
Speaking of AFC East teams, you're just talking about AFC East. I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you so much for bringing the AFC East up. Because there is an AFC East team that faces a lot of pressure. No, it's not the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are gone. No, it's the New England Patriots. But it's the Buffalo Bills. Oh, yeah, we've been talking about them. Ted, I guess that this is my opportunity to speak to the crowd because of the fact that I've been on the Buffalo Bills bandwagon all season. From day one, when they started September 9th in SoFi Stadium, when they dominated. Now we're looking back at the Rams team, but dominated the one Super Bowl champs, LA Rams. I rode with them. I'm sticking with them. I'm sticking with my boy Josh Allen, the man. But there is a big but to this because of the fact of that it is the Elite Eight. And this team's not here. This team is not at the Super Bowl, not have met the preseason expectations. You know they were the favorites, Ted. Plus 600. They were the odds on a core. Also, did you know the other team that was the preseason favorites too with them?
Yeah.
Who?
Packers.
No, it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No, I thought the Packers.
They were plus 600. But now we think about it. The Buffalo Bills are here. Buffalo Bears. The Buffalo Bills are
Well,
playing.
you know what?
Ted's boy. They're playing. Well, they've been playing. Offensively, they're doing it, but defensively, they're all over the place. Inconsistency of the Buffalo Bills. But we think about Ted's boy, Joe Burrow. I do like Joe Burrow too. But when we think of this game and we think of the entire playoffs, Buffalo, this is all on them. Because all the moneymakers were all on Buffalo. This was the year. This is it. Here we go. Buffalo is going to fly through the AFC, and they're going to be winning a Lombardi trophy finally. I don't know about after this weekend, Ted. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely, bro. And I was thinking about it because at first when you gave me the question, I'm like, but I'm like, yeah, bro, this is great. I mean, they have the most pressure. Sean McDermott has the most pressure as a coach, I think. Because now he's in his 6th season. This Bills team has been building for this, bro. Like, there is no more damn excuses. Like, Josh Allen, like, you're all over the Josh Allen train. Like, you couldn't be more slurped up on Josh Allen. And honestly, like, you were like, he's the best quarterback in the league. Well, then prove it, bro. Go beat Joe Burrow and go beat Patrick Mahomes and go win a Super Bowl. Because guess what? Joe Burrow, he's been to the Super Bowl. And if it wasn't for a missed block, he wins a Super Bowl. And guess what? You know who else has a Super Bowl? Patrick Mahomes, and been to multiple Super Bowls already. You want to be considered in that top tier? You want to be the guy? That's how you get recognized. You got to win a Super Bowl. That's how you get recognized. You want to start putting your name in that upper echelon, bro, and get it young and get it now. Because you look at that AFC, we just talked about 2 quarterbacks on that side, Patrick Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence. They ain't going nowhere. Joe Burrow, who you're facing, he's not going nowhere. I don't know what's going to happen with Miami and Tua, but they're not going nowhere. You know the Patriots are going to be competitive. The Jets, if they make a move for Lamar Jackson, that just puts them right in the top of the category for Super Bowl contenders. What happens? You know, the Browns next year, Deshaun Watson with a full season. What happens with the Browns? You know, if Lamar comes back and the Ravens make some moves, what happens with the Ravens? So you look at that AFC, and you know, you still got Justin Herbert and the Chargers, I understand, and Russell Wilson in Denver. That division is stacked. I mean, sorry, excuse me. That conference is stacked.
Could have Tom Brady there too.
You're talking about McDermott, right? He's in his 6th year. He's been to the conference. He's been to the division. They lost. All right. They lost Brian Dable. Like, I think that coaching staff, like, the pressure of no Brian Dable. Now, you know, Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, Sean McDermott, the defensive-minded guy. They can't run the football. Josh Allen. Like, I wrote down this. Burrow versus Mahomes both have Super Bowls. Conference is getting. And you made moves this season about getting to the Super Bowl. I understand Von Miller, who you made big contract signing in the offseason. He's not there. I would have picked them definitely to win the Super Bowl or be the front runner if Von Miller was there. They're also missing Michael Hyde. I get it. He's been out for most of the season, but those are 2 major key losses. They still can't run the football. So the pressure is on. Listen, it's on the team.
Michael Hyde was practicing.
Yeah, but he's not playing.
There's a possibility he could play.
Really? I didn't see that. All I'm going to say this is it's on the Bills, but it's especially on Josh Allen, bro, because to me, Patrick Mahomes, rookie season, well, 2nd year, but really his rookie season, right through 50 touchdowns, MVP, Super Bowl. All right? Or was it the 2nd season he won it in the 1st year they beat? Mahomes lost to the Patriots.
He lost to the Patriots his first year. They had home field advantage. And
and that was when D Ford went offside. The 2nd year they won it. Yeah. All right. But then
the
like
3rd year he went through.
But he's been in the conference championship every year. And I get it. Last year they lost by 13 seconds and the coin toss and all that other bullshit. But it doesn't matter, bro. You still didn't win. And I get it. That's the way it goes. And then this year, you're going to face Joe Burrow. Like, Joe Burrow has done it. He's beaten Mahomes 3 times. He's been to a Super Bowl.
Personally,
it's more on Josh Allen, the pressure of him taking this team And listen, be Superman, bro. Your team can't run the ball. You've contributed 83% of the touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills this year is on Josh Allen. It's on him and the Buffalo Bills. Like, Trev, here's the thing. If they don't win, what's going to be the excuse? Oh, we didn't have Von Miller? Like, what? Again, you're going to start wondering. And then here's the other thing I was thinking about. And the reason why I thought this was a great question, and I'll finish it on this, is in the NFL, we see every year 6 or 7 new teams that make the playoffs, don't make the playoffs, and 6 or 7 new teams make the playoffs. Giants, Jags, like we were just talking about, right? You don't know next year what's the new teams. What if Josh Allen gets hurt next year? What if someone else gets hurt? What if, like you don't know injuries. Like you're pretty healthy for the most part.
And you even said it. The Jets are going to make a splash eventually because they are looking desperately for a quarterback. Whether that be Aaron Rodgers, whether that be Tom Brady, whether that be Lamar Jackson, we're going to all be looking forward to how this offseason plays out because there's going to be a lot of quarterback.
But Trev, you don't.
Well, hear that. But let me.
Your team, you know this from just a football standpoint and watching football your whole life as even a guy that hasn't played in the NFL just like we haven't. But every year at a team, injuries, things happen, occurrences. You know what I mean? You don't know from what. Like you ask Ram fans, was it worth it to go all in and win a Super Bowl? Yeah. Who cares about this year? It's like whatever, bro. We won a Super Bowl. That buys you 4 or 5 years. And here's the other thing: the Bills have never won a Super Bowl. Like this was the team. Like 2 years ago, 2 years ago, it was a good story. Last year was like, okay, you guys are right there with the Chiefs. Now it was like they were the favorite to win this year. The Chiefs were supposed to be the team that fell off. They were not supposed to. I lost Tyreek Hill. They lost defensive players.
Here's what I would say. Like I was thinking about this off of a ranking based system too. You look at just throw the Giants and Jaguars out this question because those two teams face no pressure at all. If they lose, they're not expected to be here. So yeah. So when you think about that, those two are out. Then you get Dallas. Dallas is always going to be in the top, though. No matter what, they're probably no. Too. I said to me they were 3.
Dallas?
2. I had the Chiefs. I had the Chiefs at 2. And hear me out. I know it sounds crazy and like
what
why?
Pressure to win?
No, listen. I get it. They lost Tyreek.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Pressure to win this weekend.
Oh, this weekend or the Super Bowl? I'm talking about the Super Bowl, bro.
Well, both. Just in general, the Bills, without question, face pressure here on out. The Chiefs too, to me, and this is why I say this. And I'm not just saying the Bills for this weekend, but the rest of the way too. The Bills, without question, number 1, but the Chiefs number 2, and here's why. I know we all talk about how the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. We've even watched shows to the point that people have compared him to Michael Jordan-esque because of what he's done, and I get it. He's phenomenal, unbelievable, game-changing type quarterback, but. What if he doesn't win a Super Bowl again? Now, he gets to another Super Bowl. Okay, I get it. But he loses. Just hypothetically, he loses. He's only still got 1 title. But all we've been ever hearing for the nonstop fan favorites that love him, the diehards that love him and are enamored with his play, what if he doesn't win again? Now, I know the Bills face pressure without question because they were the preseason favorites. But now that the Chiefs didn't have as much pressure. They were still there because of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But now that they're here, they're the number 1 seed. Now that they're here, forget about all the Tyreek questions. Forget about it. They're here. They're the number 1 seed. They're here. Forget about Tyreek Hill. What if they lose and don't win another Super Bowl?
He's still got time.
I get it, but I get it. I get it, but what if he loses? Like I'm saying, but no question, the Bills are odds-on favorite of this one.
Let me interrupt you for a second.
But no, I'm saying once. Hold on. All I would say is the Bills, without question, were number 1, but the Chiefs were number 2. Am I crazy to think that?
Okay. Chiefs 3. I'll go with you right in the top 3, but I'll put them 3. Dallas 2 because it's Dallas, bro, and there's been a 27-year drought since the last time they won a Super Bowl. Last week, they won their first road playoff game, and like, hallelujah, the world was crashing down because they won a playoff game. Oh, my God, since 92, because that's because you suck. All right? I hate the Cowboys. Whatever. But we'll see what happens. Listen, they're a whole other team, but it's because Dallas right there, you have to put Dallas. There's always pressure because they have a great team. I totally understand the Mahomes thing, but I would have more went with this. His contract's going to
– At least you had him in top 3. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
His contract's going to kick in next year. His contract's going to kick in a year. Now it's going to start to get in the 50s, 55, $60 million. They didn't re-sign Orlando Brown. I believe he's still on the 1-year franchise tag. He's going to want to get paid. He might walk in the offseason.
Am I crazy to have?
So what I'm saying is, here's the thing. When Mahomes' contract starts kicking in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guys start wanting to get paid. I understand that. Certain guys leave. Injuries, like we talked about. Kelsey becomes another year older.
Yeah.
Your opportunities, like people would have said, and
The
you
window the window starts getting.
When Dan Marino made the
tighter.
Super Bowl in his first 3 years, people probably thought, oh, he's going to make tons of more Super Bowls. Never made a Super Bowl again.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
Never made another Super Bowl. One and done.
That's what I'm saying. And we all thought Aaron Rodgers was like the second.
Here's the one thing I would say, though. Mahomes at least has one. Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Josh Allen has none.
But that's why he was number one without question.
And Dak is number two because it's Dak. You got paid $40 million a year. You want big money. It's Dallas. It's Jerry Jones. And every year that Dallas doesn't win, it becomes another funny joke in the book when you're at the bar and go, man, last time I got laid was when the Cowboys were.
The
Cowboys were a good
the
team.
Super Bowl.
I mean, pretty soon.
I would say, hold on. My fourth one, and I'm saying only.
I mean, I might have a.
My fourth one was going to be Philly, because once I say Philly, the reason I say Philly over San Fran is because of the fact too, and then we'll get into the games quickly, is they're going to have to eventually pay Jalen Hurts. He's going to be due for a contract soon, and with the way he's played this year, MVP level when he was on the field and healthy, he was at an MVP, probably the favorite to win. So now we're talking money. Now we're talking big time money soon. So he's going to get a contract. And then that starts to play in. You might lose Miles Sanders. Ted, you did say that. So they're going to start losing players. Yes, they got A.J. Brown locked up, but they're also going to start losing players too in their offensive line because some guys are getting older. Lane Johnson, Hall of Fame type right tackle. This could be his last. Not many more years left of Lane Johnson. Jason Kelsey, he might be on the way out too as well. That's a Hall of Fame type guy.
Yeah, he was going to retire after this year.
Yeah, so he's coming back to win a title. So I'm just saying the Eagles are going to be up there. I would say the Eagles. The 49ers, you got to still put them there.
Well, I would also – mean, here's the thing. You can make a legit argument, not to continue this conversation too much, but you can make a legit argument, the same thing that you talked about, the same thing with the Bengals. You're going to have to pay Joe Burrow soon, all right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to – and eventually you're going to have to pay T. Higgins. And then Jamar Chase.
But think about Cincinnati's scenario, and you know what? Let's get into it, because that's probably – some, maybe everybody, most fans in the football world, that might be the most looking forward to as a football fan. We didn't get to see that. But Joe Burrow, you also did say, but they're also playing with the situation that they just lost Alice Kappa now, who's out. Jonah Williams is out. So 3 of their starting offensive linemen. The team that was so destined to be great because of this offensive line that they revamped in the offseason is now drastically looking like, oh yeah, the year that he just went to the Super Bowl. So he still looks like, you got to still believe in Joe Burrow. Still have to believe in Joe Burrow because he just did it last year. Just saying. But Ted, I wanted to do this based off of, I know which game are we most looking forward to singly. We know it's the Giants because we are the Giants. We are Giants fans. We bleed big blue. But that obviously is number one. It's more of just, how would we rank our games looking forward to this weekend? And you think about how last year played out in the divisional round. Well, it was truly incredible. Can they replay this or replay and get what we got last year? We'll have to see. Time will tell. But when we rank these games, and we both know number one is the Giants, we'll really think about 2, 3, and 4. How would you rank the other 3, I should say?
Well, I think the last one will easily be the Chiefs Jags.
I think that's very, very. I think that could
be an underrated game, but I look
what
at
if
it
Jacksonville found a way? Like, what if they found a way? They pulled the Tennessee Titans.
I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked. As much as
they got the talent.
Well, they do have the talent, and they could be riding high. The question with that game is, and when you talk about
they're on a 7-game winning streak.
They got to get pressure on Mahomes to have any chance. All right, they got to have some pressure. Now, last time they played was, I believe it was week 10. Chiefs had like 500 yards of total offense. Kelsey killed them up the middle, but Kelsey kills everyone. I mean, he's so good. He's honestly, I think honestly he might be the best tight end I've ever played. He's just so dominant. He really, I mean, he's just phenomenal.
That's a debate.
I mean, it's only him, Gronk, Antonio Gates.
No, Tony Gonzalez.
Antonio Gates, bro, has like the most receptions of a tight end like ever.
Well, look at that. We just got talking tight end. Yeah, but Travis Kelce, 100% agree with you now.
I mean, and he's phenomenal. So, but I get it. He's playing with Patrick Mahomes and he plays an offense that.
All right, so you put
tight end
four.
like-
Okay, so we both put
Whatever.
four. Okay, fair.
But like in that game, like it's about getting pressure, and Trevor Lawrence can't turn the ball over. Like he cannot play like he did last week because this is not the Chargers. This is not the LA Chargers. They will run you out of the building. It'll be 40-0 before you even know it. If you play like that, they're gonna have to play a much cleaner game. Honestly, for me, oh man, this is so tough. I was gonna be honestly like I had an answer to my head, and then really I'm like, because my brain. I'll tell you what my brain tells me: Bengals, Bills. Because that's the game I didn't get to see yet. So I really excited for that game.
Yep.
But my heart says it's the 49ers Dallas because as the best game, because it's Dallas, because it's the 49ers, because there's so much history richness with these two teams. I was looking at the topic that we talked about last year when we did these two teams about two of the greatest dynasties in all of football. Other than
I want to just tell you this quickly because I wanted to look up. I was just curious about the Jacksonville. I'm so sorry about this.
No, tell me.
Jacksonville or Kansas City tomorrow. 38 degrees, cloudy with rain and snow. And at night, 31, light snow. So, well, Trevor Lawrence, you say the crowd is like Jacksonville. Well, the weather is damn sure not going to be.
Well, it's been pretty cold in Jacksonville too, bro.
It ain't gonna be snowing or it ain't gonna be raining there.
It could be in Jacksonville. It was 45 last week.
Ain't gonna be. Come on, stop. You tell people down here they lose their minds. They'll be thinking the world's ending.
Well, Jacksonville's in a different world. Jacksonville's a little bit north, bro.
I know it's 6 hours. It's 6 hours away. I know.
Yeah, you're like in a whole different state compared to Jacksonville.
I was driving at this point 2 years ago. By the way,
you can drive.
I was in
Virginia.
I think it was
no. It was 5 o'clock. You were in DC.
Probably Jersey. I was probably Jersey.
No, you were in DC. You left at like.
There was traffic in New Jersey and New York. Typical, the usual traffic.
People have no idea what we're talking about.
It's okay. It's all right. I moved 2 years ago. I moved away from my brother. My brother has been sad since.
And family, friends, girls, everything.
He left everything.
He left everything. He took his car, packed it up, and left us.
For 2 years. It's been 2 years. But
Ronnie hasn't been the same.
Neither one of you guys have been the same.
But the Dallas 49er game.
Number two is
Bills Bengals.
So for me, it would be.
But
I'm going with Dallas San Fran because if we all remember, this is a rematch of last year's wild card game.
And here's the other thing: that's the last game of the weekend. So like the reason the excitement's going to be up because I'm going to be like, oh my god, we already know who's in the 3 of the 4 teams. We're going to know. We're like.
Who is Philly or what's realistic?
I mean, honestly, we're gonna be watching that game at like 6 o'clock. Like, oh my god, who are the Giants playing? Like, are we going to?
We're already predicting the future.
Are we going to San Francisco or are we going to Dallas? That's what we need to know. Or actually,
I don't even know how to comprehend.
But like, I mean, like I wrote down some stats. Like and when I look at that game,
I don't even know how to comprehend all that. The Giants are playing.
Here's what I wrote down.
The Giants are still playing.
Well, here's what I wrote down too, like about that Bengals Bills game. Like I wrote down this stat that I thought was pretty interesting. It's like Joe Burrow is 22-3 in his last 2 seasons when he sacked less than 4 times in a game. He's 4-8 when he sacked more than 4 times. So when I know we're doing what we're most looking forward to, but those are things that I'm looking forward to see what type of game we're going to get. Like how is that offensive line going to hold up against the Bills? I love Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I'm picking the Bengals to win this weekend. I picked the Giants, the Chiefs, the Bengals, and I picked the 49ers to win this weekend. I think as much as Dallas has the team to match up with the 49ers, they have the speed on the defense, they have the athleticism, they can put enough pressure on Purdy and make it a Purdy game. And I feel like Brock Purdy he's played really well, but I feel like he hasn't been the reason why they've won. It's been that defense. It's been that.
It hasn't been his fault either.
I know. I get it. He's played really well. Turnover free.
I don't get it. I don't get this.
Listen, they have rushed for at least 150 yards every time the last 6 games.
He just threw for 300 yards.
Well, yeah,
over 300 yards.
75 yards came from a
whatever. He still got the ball to him. He still played
but he started off shaky and almost threw a couple picks.
And he still threw for 300 yards.
I don't know if he can get away with that in Dallas.
I get that. I get that. But still, give the man some credit.
Dude, the guy's unbelievable. He's Mr.
I don't think you're giving him enough credit. I don't think you're giving him enough credit.
He hasn't had turnover since week 14. He had 330 yards.
I still don't think you're giving him enough credit though.
Well, when you got the best defense in football, you have Debo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian
Do you think they have? Let me ask you this question: do you think they have a better chance for Brock Purdy to win the Super Bowl than they would if they had Jimmy G?
Yes, I told you. I thought
Bingo.
the best quarterback
That's all
that's
that-
played for the. I
don't need I don't need an explanation. That's all that matters. That's
I
all
told
that
you
matters.
this because of his athleticism. He brings
all
something.
that-
I had the
all that
49ers
matters.
in the Super Bowl in the
Yeah, so did
preseason
I.
when we did this
Yeah,
with
so
Trey
did I.
Lance being your quarterback. You had Jimmy G taking over the reins and taking him to the Super Bowl.
Did we ever think? Yeah, you thought Trey Lance was going to be a possible MVP candidate. That's an all timer.
No, I just said he had the possibility with the type of team that he had.
No,
with
you
the
said
talent.
the word was potential.
Listen,
yeah,
if
you got potential.
Listen, if Trey Lance stayed healthy and could have just done what Brock Purdy done, he would have been an MVP candidate. Distribute the ball.
Before he got injured, he was awful. Just saying.
He played in 2 games. Guy played in a monsoon, okay? And then the second game he got hurt.
My point is he played in 2 games and he didn't look good either one.
Trev, the first game doesn't count. Was it?
Justin Fields was the better quarterback that
Justin
game.
Fields didn't even have that great of a day.
And he was better than Trey Lance. Anyways, Brock Purdy, give the man some credit. He's played his game.
Fields
He's
also
done what.
Was a starter at Ohio State, had about 40 games under his belt, had a full season under his belt. Trey Lance had about barely wiped his ass, okay, and he was on the field. All right.
Let me say this. Hey, I'm not the one that traded all my draft assets for him. So
it don't matter.
Brock Purdy has looked the best of the 3 quarterbacks of the San Francisco 49ers. That game is going to be I mean,
is that the game you're most looking forward to see, or is it the Bengals Bills?
I'm just from the standpoint of both those games, I'm a fan of. I just can't wait to see Joe Burrow and Josh Allen light it up. We never got to see it in January, but we will get the opportunity. I know both teams are beat up with injuries. The offensive line of the Bengals is that just sucks. It just sucks. But if there's one guy that can really do it, we've seen it a year ago. I know Tennessee is not the Buffalo Bills, but Joe Burrow is a remarkable quarterback, and he can do things that a lot of people can't do in this world.
So who do
he has an opportunity, but I'm all in on the Bills. I'm not changing, but Joe Burrow is the one guy to me or like a Patrick Mahomes, because I think these are the top 3 quarterbacks in the AFC and in the NFL.
They're the 3 best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes.
If you want to argue about 4, that's fine. We can do that all day.
Fine.
But those are the 3
best quarterbacks on paper and in every game, every Sunday, playing every Sunday. That's one quarterback that has the opportunity. They can make a massive comeback or just pull it off in some sort of fascinating way.
Cool, bro.
But I like the 49ers Dallas game because it's just an old school rivalry. This has been going on for all football fans, newcomers to the football world. If you haven't seen this is an all-time great rivalry.
Dude, in the 90s,
back from the 80s, 90s, the 90s, the 80s, 90s. I mean, the catch. Dwight Clark. The catch. Joe Montana. Throwing in the back of the end zone. Dwight Clark coming out of nowhere to win the game.
Remember
this is Deion Sanders. I mean, there's all timers.
And he's switching over, going against Jerry Rice.
Terrell, even the Terrell Owens, thing.
Stubblefield. Terrell Owens when he's spiking the ball on the Dallas Star.
And Roy Williams going after. I mean, this is.
No, it was Teague.
Oh, who was it?
It was Teague, number 31.
And this is an old school rivalry. I can't wait to see this game. And both teams, the 49ers have been the hottest team in all of the NFL. Dallas Cowboys looked extremely impressive last week. I can't wait for that game. Giants, what else do I have to say? We haven't seen this in so long, to be in this situation, playing against the Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Financial Field. Nightmare in Lincoln Financial for the Eagles. It's going to be a nightmare for the Eagles.
Time to let the ghost out and let them go.
I'm very quiet right now. I'm very patient, but inside I'm ready to I can't wait. I'm very, very, very excited for this game. I just can't wait to see what the Giants do against, for most of the season, the best team in the NFL, and we get an opportunity to, shock the world in a way. Shock the NFL world. And Jacksonville has an opportunity. Buffalo, Cincinnati, what else can you ask for? I mean, you look at these are the 8 best teams, Ted. 8 best teams in the NFL. Getting a chance to play in conference
at least
Sunday.
6 of them.
Conference title Sunday. Well, in the sense of when you think of Jacksonville, I wouldn't take anybody else over Jacksonville. I wouldn't take the Chargers because they had their opportunity.
If Miami was healthy with Tua, maybe.
Maybe.
That would
Okay.
be my only exception.
I'm taking the Giants over Minnesota, and I would take the Giants over.
Well, the Giants just proved that.
Yeah. So the Giants. These are the four best teams in the NFC, and these are the four best teams in the AFC. Maybe if Baltimore. Okay, I get it.
But
Maybe Baltimore.
you know what's funny, though? You look at the disparity between the three teams in the NFC, the Cowboys, 49ers, and Eagles, how stacked those teams are. You go quarterback, lineman, coaching, defense, like talent.
Completely.
And then the drop off to the Giants.
Damn, knocking Big Blue right now, Ted.
Well, no, dude, I mean, talent-wise, Eagles have 8 Pro Bowlers. What are the 49ers? I think Eagles – if you just took the rest of the NFC Pro Bowl, you just put the Eagles, 49ers, and Dallas team. I think the Dallas had like 6, 7 guys, and the 49ers had like 6, 7. I mean, literally, you could put Trent Williams, you got Kittle, you got Dalton Schultz, you got Dallas Goedert, you got Jalen Hurts. I mean, honestly, if Purdy played all year, he'd probably be Pro Bowl. I mean, you literally in the offensive lines, you could take the Eagle offensive line, and that could be the whole Pro Bowl offensive line. Maybe if you want to throw Trent Williams in there. I mean, but Dallas's offensive line, Zach Martin ain't too shabby too.
Oh yeah, he's
CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel.
What do you? Let me ask you
Brown.
this.
And
then look at the
three teams together.
And then look at the AFC. You get the 3 best quarterbacks in the world, and then you
Because
get Trevor
honestly,
Lawrence, a new and up and comer. Trevor Lawrence, who's going to be one of the top guys in team.
Those are the 3 best defenses right there. Cowboys, 49ers, and Eagles are the 3 best defenses.
I would still put the Bills in that conversation.
They're not in the. I would say the 3 best offenses.
The numbers speak for it.
Whatever the numbers. The Bills, Bengals, and Chiefs are the 3 best offenses, even though the Eagles are right there. And even though since Brock Purdy has taken over this team, them and Dallas Cowboys are the only 2 teams that average 30 points or more since in the last 6 weeks. But if you look at it, like if I was just telling the team in the Super Bowl, you're going to have the 3 best defenses versus the 3 best offenses.
I got one.
And every one of the quarterbacks in the NFC is going to be a significant drop off to who they would be facing in the AFC. And that's either
close up.
That's either Burrow and that's either Josh Allen.
I'm going to close out with this because we have to. It's only fitting. It's a very simple question. No. What to expect from Big Blue? What to expect from the Giants? We're Giant fans. We're diehard Giant fans, bro. I've been waiting for this moment and to know that it's Philly. We're 60 minutes away from a possible NFC title game. What do you expect? What do we expect from Big Blue, honestly?
Like the movie Little Giants. One chance. 99 out of 100, we got to win one game. The Giants got to win ugly. They got to win. I mean, listen, the Eagles are stacked. I'm realistic. The Eagles are so stacked. They got all pros on every level of the thing. Their secondary is the number 1 secondary in football. They got 70 sacks on their defensive line. It's like, okay, so we can sack you. We get 70, and then their worst thing is their rush defense. They give up like 4.4 yards. So the Giants got to be able to run the football. They have to establish some type of running game. What I wrote down: Barkley had 28 yards in the first game, 9 carries. He hasn't scored a rushing touchdown in the Eagles since 2019. I mean, and the Giants, one of their weaknesses is stopping the run. They gave up 253 yards in the Week 14 matchup against the Eagles. They have to be much better against the run. They have to be able to stop the running game and make this a passing game for the Eagles.
So this game is going to be won in the trenches to you.
I mean, the problem is when you look at the trenches, the Eagles have the advantage both defensive line and offensive line. The Giants honestly have to get lucky. They have to hope that Hurts is hurt, plays poor, has a turnover, something that Josh Allen did against Miami, where Miami, we went into last week like, oh my God, the Bills are going to smoke Miami. It ain't even going to be a close game. And then you got to get lucky. But this time, our coach won't be a screw up like Mike McDaniel and not know what to do and what play to call up. Dable will be ready to go. We also won't have a third stringer in there. And Daniel Jones will have an opportunity. If the Giants are going to win, it's going to be a nasty, ugly pig pen game in the mud, 21-14, 24-17. I would think. I don't see this game being a high-scoring game, but maybe it is. Who knows? But the Giants have to be lucky. They have to be opportunistic. You know what I mean? Block a punt, block a kick, take a kickoff for a touchdown. And as a Giant fan, you just hope and pray. I told you before that we did the show. I feel like if you watch the first half, you'll know what type of Giants team you'll have. And they'll either be blown out because they're just overwhelmed in the moment. The Eagles are that good and they're ready to rock. Or we're going to have like a 14-13 game, 17-14. Even Giants down 21-14. But all right, we're within one possession. We're right there. A couple other plays, maybe a stop here and there. Daniel Jones hasn't been great. If we can make a couple adjustments, we'll be okay. And then hope after 60 minutes the Giants are victorious. That's my realistic goal. I'm excited for the game. I'm nervous for the game because I don't want the Giants season to end. I understand that this is this is the Giants' toughest game of all season. This is their toughest game all season long. They're not going to have a more difficult game than this right now. It's 8:15. It's in Lincoln Financial Field. It's a horror show. I mean, it's one thing to listen to Dallas fans. They just think they're great and they haven't won anything in 27 years. I get it. You won things when I was just getting born 30 years ago. Thank you for reminding me. No one cares. But this Eagles team has been kicking our ass nonstop since 2008. Literally has just been beating us. We've had horrors. The playoffs, the end of the season, the Deshaun Jackson punt, the Jake Elliott field goal with 61 yards, Evan Ingram dropping the ball, Cruz tearing his knee up and never being the same player ever again in the back of the end zone on 4th and goal. I mean, everything that could go wrong. Daniel Jones runs for 80 yards and falls down in a blade of grass. Like, that's what happens to the New York Giants playing the Eagles. It's a horror show. I'm just hoping that the Giants kick this effing door down in the haunted house, turn on the flashlight and say, guess what? Daddy's home. Time to take over and we win. That's what I'm hoping and praying for.
Let's shock the world. Let's go Big Blue. Got nothing else to say. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Let's enjoy a good weekend of football, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait. Let's go. Let's go Big Blue. It's going to be one hell of a weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, we're Keys to the City. See you next episode. Enjoy football. Divisional weekend. We are out. Let's go Big Blue.
You are now in tune to the Keys to the City.